So I am not looking my best today, but I'm not having a lazy day actually. I'm doing my tax returns on my accounts, which is a whole other vibe, but I just really need to get this done. I mean, it's 1 p.m. now. I've just had lunch and I'm about to actually start the tax return process. I'm really not looking forward to it. I never look forward to it, to be honest, but it is like, I keep on top of things throughout the year, so it shouldn't be too much trouble. But yeah, I don't want to focus on anything else until that is done, just so that it is out of the way and I can rest easy for another year until I have to do another round of that. I'm currently reading 2 books, one of which I have not made any progress on since the end of last week's vlog, but the first one and the one I think I'm going to finish today is Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the sequel to From Blood and Ash, so the second book in the Blood and Ash series, which is an indie fantasy romance that follows a girl called Poppy who is a maiden, and she has been kept in captivity her entire life. She's not to be looked upon, not to be touched. She can't experience pleasure, and she is going to ascend to the gods when she is 19. The ascension is this process that has a lot of mystery surrounding it. Even the people who are destined to ascend don't really know what it is, and she is guarded by a man called Hawk who is tasked with guarding her until her ascension. It is a fantasy romance with paranormal creatures in it, but the paranormal creatures aren't revealed until like the end of the first book, so I can't really tell you too much about that. There is a lot of mystery surrounding it because we're mainly following Poppy's perspective, and she has been kept in this place her entire life. It is set in a high fantasy world with, like, we have a history of 2 warring kingdoms and stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoyed the first book. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm also really enjoying the sequel. I am making a full spoilery vlog on this. I can't remember what day it's going to be going up, but it might be like the 21st, because I do have a few videos, like end of year content, early 2021 content to put out before this goes up, but you will be seeing a full spoilery vlog on my thoughts of this. And let me tell you, it has been a roller coaster, because something I really like about this book is that it has some pretty intense plot twists. My favorite thing is the romance in here. I really like the character of Hawk and him as a love interest, but it also, especially towards the end of the first book, and I believe towards the end of this book as well, I mean, I only have 104 pages left, the plot twists get kind of wild. I'm kind of worried about where this is going to end, because we've had something that's been annoying me throughout the entirety of this book, which is the main character, to be honest, and we're just getting a little bit of a resolution on the mindset she's been in, and I feel like because we're getting that resolution for her, the plot is going to throw a spanner in the works towards the end of this, which is going to leave it on a very annoying cliffhanger until the 3rd book is released. But I only have to wait until April for the sequel to this one, so it's not too long to wait, but I'm still going to be annoyed if it ends like that, especially just with how annoyed I've been with the main character throughout this. To have some sense of resolution and then for it to just leave off again will be a little bit irritating. But when I have finished this, I will obviously come back, tell you my thoughts. And the other book I'm reading is Oathbringer Part 2 by Brandon Sanderson. I'm on page 196 of this. It is 745 pages in total, so I still have a ways to go. And I was gonna say this is the biggest book I'm reading this month, but it isn't, because where is it? This one, Ship of Destiny, is the biggest book I have to read this month. But actually, when I've read these 3 of the big books that I have to read this month will be done, and everything else will be plain sailing, if I even make it this far, because of all the other chunky stuff that we have here. But this is the second half of the 3rd installment of the Stormlight Archives, which is Brandon Sanderson's biggest and most expansive adult epic fantasy series within the Cosmere. And while this isn't an extremely detailed synopsis or really relevant to the first book, this series is about a group of legendary knights that rise up to fight an oncoming apocalypse in this world that is ravaged by storms. So in the first book you have a whole lot of like war and war politics. Then in the second book you have a lot more just like general politics. The 3rd book has a whole ton more magic in it so far. This book mainly focuses on Dalinar as well, who is like a war general. He has a past of being quite bloody and murdering quite a lot of people, because he was the brother of the king of the kingdom of Alethkar, and he was the guy who was sent out to kind of like crush any rebellions. So this is mainly focusing on him, because the person he is now is very different to the person that he was. So we have flashbacks to when he was actually doing all of this terrible stuff, and that is juxtapositioned with where he is now, where he's trying to be more diplomatic. He doesn't want to fight anymore, and he's trying to win his battles with his words, but his opponents aren't taking him too seriously. closely because they know what he was like in his youth. So I'm enjoying this. I've enjoyed what I've read so far. Half of the cast of characters at the minute are in a location that I'm not loving, and I can't even really tell you why. The characters in question are Kaladin, Adolin and Shallan. I can't tell you why I'm not enjoying it, not even for spoiler reasons. I'm just not entirely sure why I'm not into this thing that they're doing. I think it's because they've gone there to accomplish something, but then they've all like split off and they're pursuing different things, and I don't know. I kind of want them to rejoin everybody else and pursue the main plot as opposed to this little side thing that they're doing. So I guess that could be why I'm not enjoying it so much. But I want this finished by the end of the week. So I have 549 pages left, and I'm going to be finishing this today. This will be 104 pages. Hopefully we'll read a couple of chapters of this as well today, and then 100 pages a day of this, pretty much just slightly over, will get me to the end of this book by the end of the week. However, I would also like to read something else alongside it, because I do have, like, from here this way is my January TBR. I haven't started any of these books yet, and I also have 2 ebooks as well to read, so that's 6 books in total. In terms of my Bookopoly TBR, because I just really haven't mentioned it yet, these are both on there. This one is to read a fantasy and this one is to read a fantasy romance, so at least I'll get 2 of my 7 Bookopoly books down by reading these. Aside from that, I did have a little bit of book mail today, just one thing that I did order, and that is A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. This is the first book in a fantasy romance trilogy, and this, I'm not entirely sure what it's about. It's the first book in the Kingmaker Chronicles. From the synopsis, I've gathered that there are 2 kingdoms. You have the north, which is all icy, and there's lots of magic there, and there is a queen who kind of guides all of these mages. Then you have the south, where there is a warlord who has united the tribal nations, and then our main character is in between these. She is a circus performer, and she is captured by the warlord of the south. That is all I know about this. I am reading this for a reason, and that reason is that I am actually going to be interviewing Amanda Boucher. Still not sure if that's how you pronounce her name, so I will be checking on that before I interview her. But I will be hosting a live show on the 7th of February on my channel, interviewing this author as part of FaRoFeb. FaRoFeb? It's a fantasy romance event. I will link the Twitter and the Instagram in my description box. Everything's kind of mainly on Instagram, to be honest, but it is taking place over the entire month of February. There's lots of authors involved. There's a readathon associated with it. There's going to be 4 live shows, I think. I will be hosting 2 of them. The first one will be Amanda Boucher on the 7th of February, and then on the 28th of February I will be hosting a joint event with Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction, where we will be like wrapping up the event as like a closing live show kind of thing. So do look into that if you are interested. I've seen the prompts for the readathon, and I'm going to try and get a whole lot of romance, fantasy romance especially, into my February TBR, and you guys know I'm obsessed with fantasy romance, so I'm like really excited. So that is where I'm up to with my reading, etc. And now it is time to do my tax returns. The problem I have with tax returns is because I only do them once a year. There are things I forget, like there'll always be one section and I've forgotten what it means, and then I'll get stuck in it for ages, and so much time passes in between them that I never remember what that one thing is. But hopefully it won't be too much of a taxing experience, and I will check in with you guys when I have finished Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. Hey, it's almost 1 AM. I don't know if I told you guys earlier that I woke up late today, but I woke up late today, so I'm not in bed, which is really annoying because I've just completely ruined my sleeping pattern, and it was just because I fancied having 10 hours sleep yesterday, and then I went to bed really late last night, and now I'm still awake and it's nearly 1 AM. But I finished Kingdom of Flesh and Fire a couple of hours ago, and I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. I did think it was going to come out at 4 stars because my main problem was Poppy and how she was just really stuck in this mood, and it was just really irritating to read that. But the thing is, I like her as a character in every other way. It was just this one thing that was just really getting to me. But gave it 4 stars. The end of that book is fire. Like the last 100 pages or so, as we're coming up to like the conclusion of the novel, were just so good. Like the fight scenes and stuff was so good, and then the way that it ended, did not expect that. There's like questions about Poppy and her background that come up quite a lot, and the direction that aspect took was not what I expected necessarily. There's been a lot of like legend throughout the book, like the legend of the world, come in to the forefront and like stories being told, and I did have a feeling that something like that would come into play when it came to her background, because that's just like typical fantasy stuff, you know. But the way that it transpired, I didn't expect it, and I shouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because of the way From Blood and Ash ended. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, really desperate for book 3 now. Very interested to see what direction book 3 takes now that we've had a couple of resolutions of things. So 4 stars to that one. Since then, I've just kind of been in a bit of a rut. I haven't actually really done much. It got to almost midnight and I went for a walk because I'm just feeling restless. For me, with the time that I got up, it would be the equivalent of being like 8-9 p.m. now, and I really should go to bed. So I've been procrastinating and looking at and buying art, which is something that I do when I'm bored, which is not good because I still haven't hung all of the art that I've already got to go up. And like I really like Bookish prints, and I really like supporting artists and like small businesses, Etsy businesses and things like that. But in terms of like Bookish art, I don't want it all over my house because Curtis just like does not even understand what half of the prints are. So I'm trying to limit it to this wall. Where are this wall here? So as you can see, I've got some things here, and then I have all of this still to fill. But I have the Reese print that I got. I also have an A4 print, 2 10x12 prints, and another massive print that's like the same size as this one to go up on the wall. And I've just ordered 2 more A4 prints, and there's another one actually. There is a From Blood and Ash print that will be going on sale at some point. I'm waiting for the artist to open their shop, and then I want to buy that, and I'm running out of wall space. I do have, to be fair, I've got space above my desk if I want to hang things there as well. But yeah, I just really like Bookish art, and I'm just happy that I can hang it and have it on my walls and have it look pretty and stuff. But the next book I'm going to be reading is Oathbringer. I'm going to be continuing on with that, and I'm kind of just procrastinating on it because I don't feel like reading. Whenever I finish a book, I never want to read anything else in that day. I kind of want to go to bed and then start fresh in the morning, I guess. And I don't feel like watching TV because I don't feel like sitting still. For the same reason I don't feel like playing games. I was going to write something because I've been itching to write for a while again. But just like, I'm somebody who gets like hung up on obstacles real easily. So like, an example is when I was doing my Christmas shopping, I couldn't think of something to buy for one person. And because of that, it just put all of my Christmas shopping on hold because I could not move on until I bought something for this one person. And my problem with writing is that I feel like I need to at least know something. Like I need to have some sort of direction, because at the minute I want to write and I have vague pieces but nothing concrete at all. So until I can overcome that obstacle, I can't write. But I'm not a writer. I haven't written in 5 years at least. I haven't written anything in like 5 years. So knowing how to overcome that obstacle is difficult. But yeah, I'm feeling some type of way right now. I'm hoping I can go to bed pretty soon. But yeah, I will I'll check in with you guys at some point when I'm feeling less strange.
We've progressed. I've had a lot of personal growth in these last hour.
Hey, so I thought I would just pop in and bring you guys a reading update, as we haven't had many of those this week because Oathbringer part 2 is real long. But I'm currently on page 502 of this, and I feel like I'm making excellent progress. That being said, this book is just extremely long, so while I am making great progress, I still have 240 pages until the end. I did want this finished today. I'm going to go and read now. I think it is just past 8 p.m, so we'll see how far I get, but I am really enjoying it. I've been reading about 160 pages per day, which isn't amazing in terms of pages, but if you take into account the fact that it's Oathbringer, then that is actually pretty good, because not only is it long, it is dense. Some of the things that are happening I'm not enjoying. Like, for you guys who are familiar with Stormlight, there's a whole thing with like Adolin, Shallan and Kaladin that is like stemming from one of the earlier books and like developing throughout the later books that I'm not enjoying. But aside from that, it's really good, and it's got like a whole ton more fantastical in this third book than it has at any point throughout the series. story so far. I've actually been using the Forest app again. If you guys don't know what that is, it is an app where you can plant trees and it like sets a timer so you can't use your phone while the timer's going. So I've been reading in like 30-minute intervals, which actually really works for me. And I watched Brit from Basically Brit's vlog earlier this week where she does that, and the annoying thing is that I know that this works for me. If I can pick up my phone, I will pick my phone up after every single chapter, and then I kind of just get sucked into this weird daydream stage where I'm looking at my phone whilst daydreaming, and I don't even realize I'm doing it until 20 minutes later. I kind of like click back into my body and realize what's happening. So setting a timer just really works for me, because as soon as I know that I can't pick up my phone for 30 minutes, I don't even try. So I've been doing that. It's been working great. I'm actually reading huge chunks of this book, so I'm going to go and carry on and do that again. But reading is the only thing I'm doing successfully this week. I really ruined my sleeping pattern. I think it was Sunday night, which means that I'm now not tired until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And I used to really love being awake at like the early hours and going to bed late, and I just don't enjoy it anymore. One of the reasons is there's just something about those quiet hours in the middle of the night where there's nobody else awake that feels really lonely and really sets my anxiety on edge, which is not fun. So I've been waking up at like midday, which isn't good, and then kind of feeling shit because I have things to do, and with it being winter there's not a lot of daylight, so as soon as it goes dark I feel even worse. It's just like a whole cycle of not good stuff. So today I have filmed my video for Sunday and started editing it. I also filmed the last clip for my Kingdom of Flesh and Fire vlog, and tomorrow is Curtis's birthday, so I'm not going to be editing tomorrow unless he wants to do something by himself. He has no idea what he wants to do tomorrow. I have no idea what he wants to do tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. But if I don't finish this tonight, I am definitely going to be finishing this tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see what I do for the rest of the night. I may just read all night, or I may work out. Oh wow, I've just pulled an eyelash out, which is fab. I don't have many left to start off with. Oh beautiful, and it's left a big black smudge under my eye. That's just what I needed. If I don't read for the rest of the night, I will probably work out or go for a walk, because with this cycle of feeling shit because of my sleeping pattern, I also start feeling like quite restless, like I need to move a bit or do something. So we'll see how the night progresses, but I'm planning on reading a lot, which is all I've been doing all week, to be honest. So I'm just popping in to give you guys a quick update, because it's going on for 2 a.m. It's almost 2 a.m. I did not expect to be here right now, but I also did not expect to be attacked this evening. There's nothing I could even say, because I can't say spoilers. I should have made a spoiler vlog for this book just for the last 4 chapters that I've read, but I'm currently reading Oathbringer still. I have this much left. I'm on page 620. I've just finished at chapter 117, and for the last, oh my god, is that all it's been? The last 3 chapters, oh my god, there was a chapter where the reveals just kept coming. I did see one of them based on clues. If you've read Oathbringer, there will be a live show on this eventually, so tune in if you want to see me lose my mind with detail. But one of the reveals had clues. Other stuff I did not even realize was possible, and I'm losing my fucking mind. And then I thought, you know, oh, one chapter, all of these reveals, things are going to progress, things are going to calm down a little bit, you know, because we just had this wild chapter. But it's not stopping. It's not stopping. And at the point that I'm at now, the last page, the last sentence of chapter 117, I'm like, shit. There's something that I kind of theorized in the live shows that I think may happen, and I think it might actually happen now, and I'm not happy that I'm right. I'm really not happy that I was right. There was a theory that came earlier before all of this fucking shitstorm that I had actually guessed something along those lines, so I feel very validated about that. But I don't feel validated about this. I don't want what I think is gonna happen to happen. I'm scared. I'm scared to continue. I still got 120 pages of this left. It's nearly 2 a.m. I'm not reading all of this tonight. My aim was to get to like page 142, I think, around 150, which I'm definitely going to do. But I don't know if I can stop at this point, because Sanderson books are real slow, okay? Stormlight is real slow. But when it gets to points of action, you have it where the chapter will be like 15 pages, but it will be a page and a half for each character perspective, and we're skipping through all these characters' perspectives, and everybody is just in a really dire state right now. My favorite characters, if you know who my favorite characters are, things are not faring well for them. There's 2 in particular that are my favorites, and things are just not going well. I really wish I could just word vomit this at you. It's Curtis's birthday now because it's past midnight, and I have just been sat on the sofa next to him while he tries to play FIFA, gasping and screaming every like 2 pages, and he's like pretty much done with my shit. He knows everything about these books now. He doesn't get it, but he knows everything that's going on, and he actually does not care, and it makes me real sad because I'm literally losing my mind. But I'm gonna go do some more reading, try and calm down, try and calm down because I need to sleep at some point. But oh my god, this book. Good morning, guys. It is 8:30, I want to say. Yeah, just past 8:30 a.m. As I mentioned yesterday, it's Curtis's birthday today. So I have gotten out of bed at the first point that I've woken up, which was 8 a.m, which I feel great about because now hopefully I should have reset my sleeping pattern and I'll be going to bed a lot earlier tonight, which is what we want. But the reason I got up is because when Curtis gets up, I'm going to have obligations because it's his birthday and I don't really know what he wants to do today. So I woke up super early so that I can finish Oathbringer. The kind of reveals, the twists, the fun did not stop coming last night. I'm on page 644, so I have like 101 pages left of this. I'm hoping to finish it now. I treated myself and made the good coffee because I'm gonna need it to stay awake and function today. It's also great because it's Curtis's birthday. I cleared my schedule for the day. I had nothing that I need to do today, solely for the reason that it is his birthday in case he wanted to do anything. So yeah, I'm starting off my day by finishing this and I'm really excited but also possibly a little bit scared. Hey, it's 10 a.m. I don't feel like I'm making progress very quickly in this, but I'm on page 687. I'm crying. It's not even sad. Honestly, I'm shocked at my reaction to this book. But as you can tell, I'm really into it. This chapter, it's a good job that I stopped here last night because this chapter that I'm currently reading, I think it's like chapter 121 or something like that. It's 50 pages long, so I'm glad that I went with my instincts last night and stopped where I did, because if I'd have been tied into this 50-page chapter, then I probably wouldn't have slept, and this is definitely much better. But yeah, I'm gonna master my emotions and continue. Oh god. I'm like, yeah, I'm shocked that the end of this book has like got me so much. Hey, so it is a little bit later in the day now. It is around 2:30 p.m. and I have finished Oathbringer. I finished it a couple of hours ago. I cried more than once. I cried 5 times throughout the end of this, and this is not the type of book that I usually cry at. I know people lose their mind over this series. It's their favorite Sanderson series, but while I have thought it is very, very good, like I've given most of the books 5 stars, while I thought it was very good and it was amazing up until this point, it's only when I got to this book that I really truly understood why people love it so much, because I just did not expect this to impact me so emotionally. There's no denying that Brandon Sanderson is a genius. I said before that he's a master of misdirection, so everything that you need to kind of figure out the plot twist is just laid out here in this book for you to figure it out on your own. But as soon as he introduces a thing, he kind of directs your attention elsewhere straight away so that you don't have too long to think on it because you're immediately distracted. There's also things where like he'll say something, state something about a character, and then in another chapter he'll state something else about a character, and the two things are immediately related, and if you thought about them then it would make perfect sense, but you just don't think about them because of other things happening. There's also many quotes in here that have a lot of meaning when you finally have that eureka moment, which I had several times throughout the end of this book. And honestly, I just love how everything's coming together. I love how it relates to the Cosmere as a whole. I believe that the 4th book, Rhythm of War, which I should be reading next month, is the book that starts to really tie the Cosmere into it as like a whole as opposed to just separate series. But I've also heard that Rhythm of War isn't as good as Oathbringer, which does kind of makes sense because I think that one of the purposes of Rhythm of War is that it is a bridge book into the 5th book. It has a lot of setup for the 5th book. So I do have to read Dawnshard before that, which is a 200-page novella, I believe. Does it follow Navani? Which I'm not super excited about. I don't love novellas. I would rather just dive into the next installment. But as you guys can probably tell, I do like to have the full picture, know all of the information, so that I can have these eureka moments because it's a really enjoyable experience. But yeah, 5 stars, probably going to be one of my favorite books of the year. I mean, I know we're only in January, but it really was that good. So this was actually on my Bookopoly TBR. I keep forgetting to mention my Bookopoly TBR. This one was a fantasy, and now because it's Saturday afternoon, I'm going to pick up a short book I have on my TBR, which is my Patreon book for the month, which was recommended to me by Ben. Thank you very much, Ben. And that is a fantasy romance called Death in Her Eyes by Erin Bedford. It's only around 200 pages. I believe it's the first book in a series. No idea what to think about this because until Ben recommended it to me, I had never heard of it. But it follows a girl who's kidnapped by her father at her mum's funeral, and she ends up attending a school for Nephilim where she expects to fit in, but apparently she doesn't. That's literally all I know. I am hoping to finish it by tomorrow night because I do have, like, I know what books I'm going to be reading next week, so it would be great if I could finish that book before the end of this vlog. However, the way that I'm reading, I don't see how that is going to be a problem. When I finished Oathbringer, I was sat at my desk filling in my spreadsheet, and I decided on a whim, I wasn't supposed to be doing this today, but I decided to edit my Owlcrate unboxing, so that has exported, it's uploading. I just need to make the thumbnail and schedule that for later, and then I have nothing on for the rest of the day. Curtis, it's his birthday, as I keep saying, but he is currently watching a 2.5-hour Dream Theater live Blu-ray. If you don't know, Dream Theater are a metal band, but I think they're a subgenre of metal. Metal is not my thing, so I don't know, but he's having a grand old time watching that. And in that space of time, I have finished Oathbringer, edited my video, I'm now working on my thumbnail, and before the DVD has finished, I will be back to reading and still have no idea what he plans for the rest of the day. So I'm gonna go just finish those last few bits for this video and make a start on Death in Her Eyes, and I'll let you know a little bit more about it when I know more about it. Added a couple of things to the print wall, so I thought I would show you guys. I can't even remember when I started putting this up, it was a while ago, but all of this was already up, and I've added these 3 pieces. So this is a Mistborn piece that I have had since, oh my god, did I buy it? I bought it myself for my birthday with my birthday money. So I've had that since May, but it was in a matching frame to this one, and I accidentally broke the frame and was really annoyed at myself, so it took me ages to buy a new one. But I got a new frame for that, so that is up. And then this is the one that Ryan bought me for Christmas this year, which I'll zoom in because there's a lot of glare, especially on the dark pieces. But there's my boy Resand, and this one is the Illumicrate print from Merwild, I think. That was in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone box. So I've just added those. The gold one looks really odd at the minute, but I do have another one of these gold frames, and I have 2 A4 prints, a Crescent City one and a Court of Mist and Fury one on the way. So I'm going to balance out this gold by putting a second one, probably the Crescent City one, up here, and then I think I'll get a black frame for the Court of Mist and Fury one I have and put it down here somewhere. And then that lamp still looks terrible and it's on a slant at the minute. I do just really need to get a new shade for this, put it in the other room, and then get the lamp I want in here, but I still have this space to fill because I do think I'm going to go all the way along. But top tip, guys, don't make a linear print wall unless you're really patient and really precise, because as you can see, this one needs to be lifted like about an inch higher. Hey guys, don't I just look pretty as a picture? I've just had a shower, as you can tell. I actually got one of those like towel things for Christmas for your hair that you can like twist and pin with a button on the back of your head, and honestly it's amazing. It does normally look better than this, but now it's kind of just like sat on my head. But I'm currently watching Ali from Hardback Hoarder's stream. She's been streaming on Twitch. I will link it below because I did include a clip in this vlog, I think, but I've just muted her for a second, so sorry Ali, because it is 12:30 AM on Sunday and I, around 30 minutes ago, finished Death in Her Eyes. I don't know why I'm picking my Kindle up, it's not going to show you anything. So it's only like 200 200 pages, and I would say that it's new adult because of the content, but writing style and story wise it reads kind of like young adult, and it's kind of like in the same vein as things like Fallen by Becca Fitzpatrick. So we're following this girl who is a Nephilim, and her mother has died, and she has this power where she touches people she can see their death. So she doesn't have many friends because she's known as like the school weirdo, and she doesn't like touching people anyway because of her ability. And her mother dies, and she knew that her mother was going to die because she'd already seen her death. So at the funeral her dad turns up, and her dad's like super elusive, checks in every few years but has nothing to do with her, kidnaps her and takes her to this school for Nephilim, where she finds out that she is a Nephilim, and she's also quite a powerful one. So she thinks she's going to fit in there, but she starts to realize that her powers are different than even the people there. Fair warning, this has it doesn't really have any romance in it, but the guy, the hot guy in the book, I'm assuming that there is going to be more romance later on because she has like some sexy visions as well, let's say. But the hot guy in the book is her teacher, so there is like a teacher-student element in there. The main character is 18, almost 19. She's kind of been forced into this school where she doesn't need to be at school because she's already just pretty much graduated high school and was on her way to college. And this guy, he's 125, but he looks about 20, but he is the teacher of one of her classes. So fair warning for you guys, it is in there. I gave it 3 stars. I did enjoy elements of it. I will say there's a lot of editing mistakes in it. It's available on Scribd, which is where I read it. There's a lot of editing mistakes in there, just like real simple stuff. I can kind of overlook it, just thought I'd let you guys know. And I think that the ending especially was quite rushed. I enjoyed kind of like the school element of it. The main character has a lot of attitude, I will say that. And yeah, it was just very like YA paranormal, so it was enjoyable. There was nothing overly amazing about it. Because of the length of it, I definitely think it could have been longer, but I kind of feel that about the majority of like 200 page books, to be fair. You guys know that I don't like short things at the best of times, so I definitely think it could have been longer, and I probably would have enjoyed it more if it was longer with a little bit more development. But thank you, Ben, for recommending that to me, because it was a very good palate cleanser, if nothing else, because I kind of had a little bit of book hangover after reading Oathbringer because it was just so good. And I was looking at my TBR like, I don't want to read anything on here apart from Ship of Destiny, which is going to be my last stop because it's huge. And I'd also read Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is a real chunky fantasy romance, so I was wanting something like in the veins of being real in depth. But now that I've read Death in Her Eyes, I'm actually more in the mood for like something short and kind of standalone-y. Like I really feel like picking up The Ravens or The Year of the Witching next, which are about 350 pages. I think they're both books in series. I know that Year of the Witching is, which I thought it was a standalone, but there's a sequel coming out I think this year, and The Ravens, I'm assuming it's a series, but I don't know. But just something like that where it's just almost standalone-y, shall we say. So we will see what I'm picking up next. I think I am going to read a couple of chapters tonight. I am going to go to bed, put Ali stream on my phone in the background while I get into bed and read just a couple of chapters. But yeah, that is it for this week's vlog. So I do hope you've enjoyed it if you made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.